business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the pod.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day. Today's guest, she's going to light you up. You're going to be motivated. You're going to be challenged. I think most importantly, you're going to walk away tools that inspire action, both in your life and in your business. And this way you can impact others. But before we dive in, here's your homework today. How are you going to serve yourself first and serve others today? It doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So lean in, take notes. Let's discover how servant leadership in business can create ripple effects that last far beyond the bottom line. And a quick shout out to my sponsor, Epic Impact, the only universal, emotionally resonant messaging framework that works anywhere for any audience. This 4-step system transforms how you pitch, post, podcast. You're going to engage, persuade, inspire, and close. I use it daily, and it works tremendously. My story's out there even more. Grab your free trial at epicimpact.ai with my promo code STEVE to start inspiring action today. Thank you to my guest, especially my guest today. We hit top 20 in small business marketing in the world in podcasting because of you, great guests, and you audience for listening and sharing these podcasts with others to make that impact. With that being said, we're going to bring a wonderful guest on. I've met her before, and she's got a very cool nonprofit helping women with entrepreneurship, which is needed for men and women, but her focus is on women, which is great. Joy, welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
Why women's entrepreneurship?
Why not?
Great
right?
answer.
I mean, well, I think, no, in all seriousness, I think, can I use profanity here?
Sure.
Okay. Women get shit done at the end of the day because a lot of times they just have to, right? They have to. A lot of times they're just left with the kids, with nothing. And so they have to find a way, and they do. And so that was kind of where this was coming from. I come from a family of very strong women who got shit done, who needed to get shit done. And they found a way. And I also had very bad women bosses who would actually were making it so much harder for me and other women. And I didn't understand why. I was like, we should help each other. Like, we shouldn't, it's hard enough already. I mean, sorry, Steve, with all due respect, I know you're a man and everything, but it is still harder for women. Women still are not paid equally anywhere in the world, period. So that's why I kind of wanted to focus on women and women entrepreneurs so that they're not dependent on some kind of, long-term project or something like that, but they can actually, earn an honest income on their own.
Yeah, men, we gotta be careful because women might be taking over business. I have a number of powerful. Colleen Biggs, shout out to Colleen. We just talked about that's a powerhouse of business, no matter what she's doing. What have you learned are the challenges of women with entrepreneurship?
Well, a lot of times they just don't get a chance. They don't know. Well, they don't get a chance. Let's start even before that. They don't even know how to start a lot of times. Maybe they have an idea or something, but they don't even know how to get themselves kind of out of a box and start. Like, how do you get money? How do you make your idea actually come true? How do you get an audience? So that's kind of the starting point. And then after that is like, okay, where do I get the money? What do I do after that? How do I sustain it after I have let's say I got like my initial money, and then what do I do to sustain it? How do I make it grow? Where do I go from there? So I mean, men have these problems too, but I think for women, they just don't know how to start, and they're afraid to start. A lot of it has to do, they don't have the confidence to start. And they don't have someone telling them, yeah, you could do it, or you should, or whatever. And a lot of times it just happens because they have to.
Yeah. Mindset's changing too with women in business. I'm 64. When I was a kid, mom stayed at home. She worked, but most of the time she's raising kids, and that's obviously changing, moving, and which is great because men can take care of kids too.
Yes, but can I tell you something? It's
Sure.
now changing a little bit again, going back. And I'm seeing that now too, that in this environment now, that a lot of women are like, maybe now I go back home. Maybe I go back to the traditional. And why? I don't know. Maybe it's the political environment. Maybe it's, I'm not sure, but it is very puzzling how on the one end, there are a lot of women like, no, I want to move forward. I want to be independent. And at the same time, there are others who were given the opportunity to move forward who are now saying, maybe I step back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's thank you for adding that, because I didn't know that. See, that's why I love hosting these shows. I get to get educated as well. Yeah. Same with you, audience. We're all in this together. Your nonprofit's giving joy, which is such a beautiful phrase, fits this podcast so well. What's the journey of giving joy? What does an entrepreneur that's a female see when they jump in?
When you're asking what is the journey of giving joy, like where I started and all that jazz? Okay. Okay. So basically, my background is in international development. I worked for over 20 years in projects that were funded by USAID, the U.S. Agency for International Development, for example, which is now dismantled. And I manage very large projects. I lived in Africa for many years, and I worked in the Middle East for many years. And I was very disillusioned, actually, by the development sector. And because I felt that they were creating this dependency on the donors and on these projects. And it was helping at a systemic level and like at the government level, but not at the individual level. At least I did not feel that. So I constantly had this like nagging sense in my brain that maybe I could do something different. And again, I studied international relations, and this is what I wanted to do. And so I took about 2 years of me using my day job at an international organization and all my travel to ask a lot of what I think over 100 women. I asked them, like, what do you need? What would help you? And they all said, sometimes we just need a little capital to kind of give us a boost or a stepping stone. And I was like, okay, maybe I could do that. Okay, let's look at these microgrants kind of thing idea. So I said, you know what? Let me try. I put in my own money, and we tried. And so that was in late 2018. And at first, nobody applied. Like I put it out there and nobody applied. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm giving money out and, well, not giving, but awarding, grants, and nobody's applying. Because I was so used to like applying for grants and looking for money versus being a donor now. So slowly, it was crazy. So slowly the word got out, and we started with a couple hundred applications, and now we're at 8,000 more or less each round. And we have now 4 rounds a year because now we're doing it regional. So it's exploded. And to date, we've awarded 94 grants in 32 countries. So our goal this year is to get to 100 grants since we started, and we're going to actually do that. So yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, I don't know even where people find us or whatever, but we on average get applications from about 70 something countries in all different languages, because women can apply in any language they want. I was trying to lower the barriers to entry. So any woman over 18 in any field can apply. Now we're doing it regionally because there were too many. It was too many applications. And you could do it in any language as long as I can use Google Translate. And it's about 8 questions. You can do it on your phone. And most women do them on their phone in very rural areas. We get a lot of women who never applied for a grant before, a lot of organizations, very small, nascent organizations who this is their first grant. And then we help them get grants in the future.
That's very cool. Since you've had so many grants given out, can you give us 1 or 2 success stories of women you've worked with?
I think there are many.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think, well, one of them recently, her name was Mona Hamedi from Egypt. She's a lawyer. And what she proposed actually was to do like legal training for women and also men lawyers, law students in Cairo about gender law, universal gender law, and gender law in Egypt, because that is not part of any of the coursework in law school in Egypt. So she decided to do that, so I'm giving her that as an example because she personally was stuck. Like, she wanted to do this for a long time to try to promote, this gender lens in the legal aspect in Egypt, which is very difficult. And she couldn't get the money. And our $500 grant, again, we're talking about tiny one-time micro grant, $500 grant was what enabled her to do this training, unstick her from her situation. And now she's doing more and more and more of these and expanding it. And actually now she's in California. She got some kind of fellowship through a university in California, I can't remember, and expanding that even more. So I think that's such a great example of how, like, again, we call it like the multiplier effect or the ripple effect, how this one grant actually helped, benefited, I think 15, 20 students. The ripple effect is like 100 or whatever. And then now Mona is doing even more. And so I feel that is a great example. I have another example really quickly. There's this woman from Vietnam. Her name's Tien, and she has also a nonprofit for deaf people in Vietnam. And I could not communicate with her because I don't speak Vietnamese or sign language. So we only texted, which was kind of cool. And what she did, she produced actually 3 videos that highlighted 3 deaf women entrepreneurs in Vietnam to raise awareness towards deaf women and also help them, get more audience. So she profiled a nail technician, someone who had a beauty salon and was crocheting. And she made these short videos of them, and they were so compelling, so simple and so compelling, just to have people understand kind of what it is to be deaf, but also how they can be a better customer, and also how the women could be better providers of services. And it went crazy. I think they had like 20,000 views or something like that. So again, $500. This is what you can do. If you have a cool idea, an innovative idea, you can do a lot of different things. And that's what I'm really proud of, that again, these ideas are not coming from me. They're coming from amazing women from all over the world.
Yeah, that's giving joy. The
Yes.
power of your nonprofit, you're giving joy. There's 2 great examples of that. And I love that they're empowering these 2 people and everybody else that gets a grant, because that's the way it should be. Since you work with a lot of women as entrepreneurs, what is a woman? What's the definition of woman in leadership to you?
She gets shit done.
Okay.
I think a woman leader, again, someone needs to make decisions, ultimately. And I see a lot of leaders who don't just can make a decision, and move on and just stay with it, and solve problems as well. Don't avoid the problems, but actually solve them. And take responsibility. if things get, effed up, take responsibility and either move away or fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what leadership is in general, not just for women. And you don't see it at all enough in this world right now.
So we're in 40 countries, this podcast. So you're going to get out there, people are going to see this. What's the difference between a domestic entrepreneur female and international entrepreneur female?
I think you mean the US based versus
Yeah, US based. Yeah.
yeah. I think for US based, I think the difference is in a lot of other countries, I'm not going to say developed, but more low and mid income countries. I think the grant does go farther. I mean, that's a given. I think also a lot of times they're up against a lot more structural issues. Even, I'll give you an example, even just having electricity to connect with me, to submit their report, or to send updates, or to even, implement the activities they're supposed to. A lot of times they just can't, because they don't have electricity. Their phone is dead. One of them, I mean, she was in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and in the eastern side in Goma, where they had like an insurrection. She had to move to Burundi, so I couldn't get hold of her. So that is something that, American entrepreneurs don't really face. Those kind of things. I mean, just like electricity or water, or, those the basic needs, you don't really worry about here. It's here you more worry about your idea and getting access to finance and finding a market and actually, trying to make your business work more, versus in other countries it's just the functionality of things that you have to overcome first, and then you can actually try and implement what you're trying to implement.
Sounds like the challenges on both sides too. That's the big challenge, is basic power, electricity, water. Outside here, we could just pick up a phone here in America and go, hey, I'm going to fill the form out. I like that. That's good for people listening out there, that you can still work through these international challenges, not struggles. Hey, if you got a phone, you get an internet, that's all you need. In some countries, that's a lot, but still, it's not like, letters and flying and travel and any of that. You can do this all with this new technology we have called the internet. It's a pretty powerful technology, especially for what you do.
Yeah, look, I am based in the US, but I could be based anywhere. And we do everything virtually. Our board is global as well. And we meet 4 times a year online. So you don't need, that physical footprint. I mean, it helps obviously, but that's what makes us very nimble and agile, as I said, and we're cutting costs because we don't have these offices. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't need it. We don't need it because we're not the implementers. The women are the implementers. And with the internet, I have them on WhatsApp all the time. I have WhatsApp groups with them all the time. So it's, and out of the 94 grantees, only one went MIA. And she was in Rwanda, and I'm not sure what exactly happened to her. I hope she's well and alive, but I am not sure. So the technology, again, WhatsApp is free. Everybody uses it, not that I want to plug it or anything, but there are a lot of different ways to do it. Also, even me sending them the money, I do that online through different mechanisms. So people don't understand that you can do so much now virtually. It's amazing. Now, I do love to meet them, and I have met one grant winner in Liberia, one in Sierra Leone, and I'm going to meet one in actually the Czech Republic in a few weeks. Yeah, just because I'll be there.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end here, but I know people listening, and this is probably a great point to bring this up on the show. Who do you look for to give these grants to? I mean, you have hundreds of thousands of people, but people listening, especially women, what, not that they're going to waste their time, it's 8 questions, but, what do they need to be showing you to get these grants?
Yeah. So we have 4 metrics where we evaluate that, and it's also on our website, givingjoygrants.org. I try to be quite transparent with our process, so we actually lay out the whole process, what happens after you apply, who reviews it, so on and so forth. So there are 4 metrics. One is alignment with our mission. The second one is actual use of the grant, that it's like logical use of the grant money. The third one is that your idea is creative and innovative. And the fourth one is that it actually has multiple impact. So it's not just on you, about you, it's about the families and community, and to demonstrate it. So because now we can be picky, what really would set a woman apart is a really creative and innovative idea, or looking at a field that usually is not women dominated. So, for example, we get thousands of applications for women that are sewing or, cooking, or, the things that are more traditional women's field. And so if you want to win a grant with us and propose, sewing, you have to say something really interesting about the sewing, versus now one of our latest grants. So we just awarded 6 new grants. One of them, they're actually training women to be tractor drivers in agriculture, so they'll be less, so they can be more self-sufficient in that sense. So that is kind of a cool idea, that automatically kind of sets you apart. So that's kind of what we're looking for.
And it's good as in the metrics. If you don't know, I'll get her contact information here in a second, or go to the website. But it gives you an idea listening out there. If you're just there sewing, your grandkids' clothes, it may not be a business that's viable for the grant, which is okay.
Example, like we get a lot of applications. Oh, women want to buy, products, or like lash extensions or hair extensions for their hair salon. Great. And what? So how is that going to contribute to other women?
Yeah.
So you have to think of that as like, that's good for your business, but it's not why should I care, but what impact is that going to have on the greater good? Let's put it that way. And I think a lot of people don't understand that when they apply, even though we say that 20,000 times. That's really kind of the difference,
It's humans dealing humans, and you got to pick and choose because you only have so much money, and people should understand. If they don't, that's okay too. Well, let's end with a really fun question.
Sure.
So I've got a table at a restaurant reserved for you, table for 4. So you're in one chair. You've got 3 empty chairs. Who is Joy going to invite, whether they're dead or alive, to talk to get to know, to learn from, and what food is she ordering?
Okay, I would definitely want Desmond Tutu there, who I actually met once, and he's was the most amazing person on the face of the earth. I would like to invite Madeleine Albright because she actually, one of my favorite sayings is by her, and she said that there's a special help for women who don't help other women. And I think she's absolutely right. How many other people?
One more.
One more. I have to think about that one a little bit.
Okay.
Give me a second. What would I eat?
Yep.
My favorite food is Mexican food. I know that's probably not the right audience for it, but give me like tortilla chips and guacamole, and I can eat that forever and ever in a day. Like literally. So that's what I would do. And then another person, maybe I would invite Julia Child, just because again, she lives not far from where I live in Massachusetts. She was definitely a pioneer and an entrepreneur, and I love cooking too. So maybe that would be kind of an interesting mix of people.
And we could do it at our house and she can cook for you. I'm just adding to it. So
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Joy, I want to thank you so much. What an incredible podcast. What a great guest you are. You're definitely a servant's heart. I know women listening and men with women, because we are with women that could share this. How can they reach out to you and get a hold of you?
Sure. So the best way is to go to our website, which is givingjoygrants.org. We're also on social media at Giving Joy Grants. Also, you can email me at info@givingjoygrants.org. Yeah. And I answer every email. I look at all of them. So if you do email us, I will answer. Also, you can sign up for a newsletter through the website too. And we send out news and success stories about the grantees and stuff every couple weeks or so. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I'll have our audience in the show notes. So if you didn't get it here, you just go to the show notes at the bottom there. You'll be able to get access to it or reach out to me. I'll get it for you. Joy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
You're very welcome. Audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's your homework at the end, but it's for a different reason. She's giving joy to women entrepreneurs. You listen to this podcast and you subscribe and you get the link, because that's what happens when you subscribe. And guess what? You get this link, go, my friend is starting a business. Oh my God, she's doing this and she's got whatever it is. And you share the link and she goes to her website and signs up to try to get a grant. And she gets the grant. Is that a gift of journey? I think it is. And the impact that we talked about in the beginning, you made by using this wonderful podcast from Joy to change somebody's life. Best feeling in the world, trust me. With that being said, me and Joy want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see all of you in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.